So obviously this is the yearly Caitlin Clark plays golf week. This is the yearly Caitlin Clark plays golf week, but at least in this year's yearly Caitlin Clark plays golf week, we've now got multiple other Fever players involved in the Caitlin Clark plays golf week. So yeah, we have got obviously Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham that are involved with the old golf. With the golf. But yeah, look, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to see. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that we're seeing people like people getting involved in golf. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that we're seeing other Fever players involved. I think it's positive. It is genuinely a positive thing to see, Caitlin Clark back and healthy by the looks of things. But if you guys didn't see, how big is this from Golf Week? This is from golf. How big is Caitlin Clark on the LPGA? Last year, according to media data tracked by Cambridge, there were 395 television segments that mentioned Caitlin Clark and Danica. On the Pro-Am day alone, there were 2,693 posts on X mentioning Caitlin Clark playing. The Pro-Am tournament generated 241,000 engagements and 18 million impressions. The tournament's Instagram account saw a 591% increase in views year over year, while the tournament's website saw a traffic increase by 121. That is absolutely mental. Like, for me, that just shows again how just, obviously, we know how big she is. We know how big she is, and we know how big the fan base is. And look, do I think it's anywhere near as hyped as it was last year? I think they did a better job of covering it. I think, genuinely, they have done a good job covering this. Like, we saw plenty of her playing golf with Lexi and Sophie, obviously. The two of them were involved. It became this kind of big thing. I think, overall, that it was a positive experience. But to say that where it's like, and now when you've got Caitlin Clark just playing a golf tournament and suddenly, it's leading to this type of an increase. Like, as you can see, I think was this last year? It said last year there were this many. The term of the Instagram page saw a 591% percent increase in views year over year. I'm not sure if that was last year compared to the year before, which would make perfect sense. Caitlin Clark Invitational presented by Nike would be the biggest event in women's sports. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Let's be real. Unless that Invitational is a lockout basketball 5v5 basketball tournament. When there's a lockout, if Nike for like 2 weeks put up $10 million and basically paid all these teams, oh yeah, you can play, but you have to play as, the Indiana Fever, you guys can play as the Reds, or I don't know, you guys can play as just Heat, Team Heat, because I don't know, Fever Heat. The New York Liberty, just play as Empire. All you're making exactly what you made the previous year in the WNBA season for 1 week. Instead of for 4 months, you're making it for 1 week, and we're kind of running the show. We're running the show. You can be on Team Empire. So all the teams are suddenly together and they are what they are. I don't know. That would be the biggest event. But not great at math, but quite impactful. Good job, LPGA. You figured it out before the WNBA could. She is the needle. Caitlin Clark effect is growing. I still think, the way I've read this, it sounds like they said last year that these are all, like, this 591% increase is last year over the year before, which would make way more sense than this year over last year. Like, look, I think we're going to be honest. I don't think there's a point, like, I don't think any of us believe that there was a 600% increase this year over last year. Like, I don't think any of us are going to believe that. Let's be honest. I don't think any of us, any of us are going to believe that one exactly. But look, at the end of the day, we've seen it from the LPGA. We've seen it from a lot of other leagues. Like, there's a lot of other leagues that realize like what Caitlin Clark brings, that realize how big Caitlin Clark is, and realize the relevance and you know, the kind of hype that she brings that nobody else does. It's just really weird that the WNBA don't. Like, it's just, I just find that really, really weird. That, like, the league itself, the league that she is a part of, just don't. And it's not even they don't, I don't even think it's that they don't know. I think it's that they don't want to. I think the WNBA don't want to promote Caitlin Clark. I don't think it's the league doesn't realize how big Caitlin Clark was, or the league doesn't think they need to promote Caitlin. I actually think they don't want to, and I've said this as well. Again, that I've heard through the grapevine that the WNBA has lost out on quite a lot of partnerships because a lot of people want to partner for the WNBA, realistically, specifically because of the Indiana Fever, and they won't let them do anything with the Indiana Fever. They won't let them have any sort of promotion with the Indiana Fever because I don't know why. So then they pull out. And I would have initially thought, it's like, okay, yeah, they're trying to get more money for the Indiana Fever. But like to work with the WNBA are charging a premium right now. And then the only reason the premium would ever be worth it for any promotion is because of the Fever. And if you're not charging a premium and not letting them work with the Fever, like, there's a reason why the league's probably not bringing money. And maybe the logic is that the league doesn't want to have this crazy like influx of revenue this year because of the CBA year. And I've always joked about it. I'm like, the reason why the WNBA might go into lockout is because of Caitlin Clark. Because if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, the players would have no leverage and they would have just taken the deal and they'd be playing anyway. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, Unrivaled might still be a thing, but it would be just a thing. Like, the players wouldn't be getting paid record money, and the hype and boom wouldn't be there, and the 10x increase in value in Unrivaled because year over year doesn't happen. And also, a lot of the brands and stuff that are working with Unrivaled wanted to work with the WNBA but got priced out of it by the WNBA. And I would assume the same with Project B. So it's a really interesting one to see what's going on. But I think the WNBA, one of the things is that I actually think they don't really want to promote Caitlin Clark. I don't know why. There has to be a better reason than they just don't like her. But it could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as they don't like her. Like, genuinely. That is that it could be as simple as that. It could be as complicated as they or it could be as simple as they don't like her. They don't think she's good. They don't realize her value. Or it could be as complicated as they want to sabotage Caitlin Clark, because if they don't sabotage Caitlin Clark, they're going to have to give up more equity in the league because the players have leverage again. Like, it could go in as deep as that, but we don't know. We genuinely don't know. But everything we've seen it, when the only league that financially is affected by Caitlin Clark doesn't want anything to do with her, it seems. Other than a couple of social media posts where there's a 50-50 chance they've spelled her name Kelton. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.